little bit.
See, I never get remarks like that.
You'll be worried about I miss so much by now.
Hello. First off, guys, welcome to Dallas. Thank you both for being here and being part of the There's a lot of really imaginative cosplayers or costume folks who run through the con at various points in time, and there's always a really strong Stargate contingent. And I think they're in the cheap seats over there. It's hard to see them through the Klieg lights. I'm curious when they were first developing the show and getting the casting together for this, and Richard definitely speak on this. When they were developing it for a TV series, talk a little about how the process went on getting you first involved in the show and how they approached you on, we want you to lead the next generation on the show.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
No, it's a fairly short, no, it's a fairly long, it's a medium-sized story that I can tell. I worked with a guy over at Paramount during the MacGyver days. His name's John Symes, my close personal friend. Anyway, he moved over to MGM, and when the project came up, and it was like Brad and who's the other guy? Jonathan Glasner. Yes, I mean it that way too. They went to MGM and offered to develop the MGM owned the project. I just woke up. MGM owned the project, and Jonathan and that other guy, the other writer.
Brad Wright.
Brad. Am I going around in a circle right now? Anyway, John Symes, who was running the whole shebang at MGM, called me and said, I want you to do this role, which was probably the toughest audition I'd ever had. But he just said, I'll send you the movie, watch the movie, and see if there's a series in it for you. So the rest is, oh, so boring, I'm sorry. I'm not going to start over either.
When you were looking through the script, was there one moment where you were reading going, okay, I can wrap my teeth around this bit of the character. That's where I'm going to start focusing on, and that's where the character's going to blossom.
What?
What attracted you to the script?
Oh. Well, I thought it was definitely a challenge to try and, make the character Jack O'Neill something other than a guy with a blonde flat top and a smoker. In fact, that was one of the prerequisites for me taking the role was, they had to, first of all, trust me a little bit creatively, but also they had to accept the fact that I was never going to get my hair to do what Kurt Russell's did. So that's it. It was the hair. Now, the whole idea behind it, first of all, well, and finally, the Stargate is probably the television's greatest on-screen prop imaginable, because you can, go through that thing and you're only going to be limited by your imagination. And we had a whole group of creative people, writers and producers who kind of started stretching their wings a little bit, spreading their wings creatively, and developed a lot of stories around the mythology of ancient Egypt, etc., etc. You know more about this than I do, but there's just great potential there. I just wanted to do something interesting after we got it.
And that opening that mythology up to be able to bring in great characters like Tony. And Tony, talk a little bit about when they were bringing you onto the project as well, because it was actually set up to be a recurring character over the life of the series, if I remember correctly. No?
No. Richard probably will tell you. You know, anytime, generally, when they tell you something's going to be recurring, they're trying to get you cheaper. But no, and they did not tell me it was going to be recurring, but it seemed to work. It seemed to make sense. The character. It's funny, you know. I'm doing a series now called Continuum. But what was funny about it is Jeff King was the writer. Was one of the writers on the episode where they introduced Braytac, and I always thought, how did I get this audition? You always wonder it seemed like they were going out of the way to have me audition, and then you go on IMDb and you realize, okay, there's Brad, there's John, and Jeff King, you know, so, but, you know, Stargate was attractive to me because we all remember Chariots of the Gods. Remember that book where they tie in sort of Egyptian mythology and Egyptian civilization into a kind of alien sort of, and so that I thought, well, you know, how wonderful, and then you know, I found you know, Richard was on, and I thought, well, that's fun, you know, and it just seemed to fall into place, and we never had that discussion. Oh, you will be coming back. They just kept riding, and I was thrilled, you know, and.
Just how cheap did we get?
As the show's executive producers, you probably have a vested interest in knowing how cheap they got.
Oh, not anymore.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. You know, I wasn't riding around. I wasn't riding to the set on heated seats.
Oh, really?
I used to get a ride sometimes by Richard Driver, and my favorite thing was we struck. Actually, there were several drivers, and we struck up a wonderful conversation. And I always thought, oh, this is going to be so nice to wear this stuff all day, and I just used to pop that heated seat on it. It was great. It's cold in Vancouver.
Actually, I had just farted, probably.
Oh!
Okay. Leftover heat.
If we're going to go there, I remember actually, it was an episode called Maternal Instinct, and it was the second episode. Now, I want to ask you, I have a question. And anytime I do one of these, one of the fans' favorite moments in the thing, in Maternal Instinct, where I come in, and I'm sort of in a big helmet, and you guys have been trapped, and you stand up, and I proceed to give you like a forearm to the head. And fans just love that moment. Now, why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Well, obviously, they like seeing you get beat up, Richard. That's got to be.
I'm not so adverse to it myself.
Yeah. The thing I love about in this, and I love the humor. I love the humor. I love how, you know, all the other characters, we create this sort of balloon. And Richard O'Neill is a surrogate for you, comes along every so often, just gets a little pit. He goes, and he pops it. I thought it was just brilliant, you know, because he is your surrogate. He's your, really? Are we really going to go there or do that? That and your back and forth with Michael was always my favorite. You know,
Michael and I had fun together. In fact, we just did one of these things up in Calgary, and I hadn't seen him in about 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been, and we did one of these talks together, and I'd never done one where normally I don't do one with somebody because I can't keep track of where I am. And sometimes it's fun to watch me meander through the cosmos, but he and I just snapped right into each other's rhythms again. It was quite filthy, actually.
This conversation is for adult language and partial nudity. We do have microphones set up for you guys, so if you do have questions for either Tony or Richard, please go ahead and queue up. Richard, I did want to